All right, welcome back to the IOY podcast. Today, I got a new guest on today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
All right, if you don't know, my name is Spider Loco. Um, that's what it's been. I'm also AKA No Brain. Some call me Bay Machiavelli. Thanks to the homie neighborhood Nina from the Nine. Go tap into his platform, Nina Boy on YouTube. Also, they call me VJ Keyway if you're familiar with the black box, because I constantly find myself in the black box playing SPI videos. So unlike a DJ, the V in VJ stands for video. So I'm VJ Keyway.
Yep.
But I'm here. We on the platform trying to see what it do.
Right on, man. Let the people know what you do.
Outside of being a recording artist, I'm also an actor. Not only am I an actor, I also have a platform on YouTube, which people that view it classify as a podcast, which I have never personally classified as a podcast myself, but I am humbled and honored that people view it as such because I do feel that as a professional endeavor. So if me going live on a consistent basis inadvertently caused me to be in possession of what the public considers a podcast, I'm humbled and honored by that. I do that as well. Not only of that, I'm a father of six, grandfather of one. So I got seven babies. I'm a longshoreman. So basically what I do is Bay Mac. They call me Bay Machiavelli because Bay Mac means be about your money at all costs. And because of the society that we live in and we know money reigns supreme, I realize the importance about accumulating an essential amount of it for myself and those that I am responsible for. So that's what I be about.
For sure, man. How did you, I guess, get into, the new videos on YouTube and stuff that you're doing that, people are considering a podcast? Because I mean,
Shout out to you. Go
it's
ahead. I'm
getting
sorry. Go
views.
ahead.
It's getting a lot of
Well,
views too. You know what I'm saying?
I got to shout out to my boy Ryan from Hip Hop Classics Daily. He switched his format up in his platform recently to go away from hip hop. I think he's trying to separate himself from the immediate attack of the concept of the culture vulture because he's not immediately amongst a member of the culture, but he has a very genuine interest. And because our culture raised a lot of non-members
Right.
just based on the media exposure we receive. And he has one of the most genuine interests in it. And he has been involved in and benefited from exploiting it in whatever sense without any ill intentions. I think his intentions were extremely credible. However, it's been a real common thing with Vladimir and Adam 22 of the culture vulture concept. I think that's what kind of motivated him to change his platform from a hip hop based platform to just a like general content platform. But however, when he was strictly about his hip hop, me being coming off a cusp of a hiatus, I started going live on a regular basis, basically highly thanks to suggestion of my boy Crash, Big Trap LA, the platform, tap in with the homies. But as I started going live, he just used to tell me, bro, like people just want to see your everyday life and see what you're about. I happen to be involved. I have three sons that range between the age of 13 and 15. I happen to be involved as coaching in their life as football. So I usually used to use that opportunity to go live initially and just show them at practice and talk to the fans. And what happened was the fans used to ask me questions that included other popular people, my past, and I would be very candid with my answers. And although there would be between 11 and to 20 people in the chat room actually listening to me asking the questions, I realized there was a phenomenon of me waking up the next day and seeing other platforms taking that same content and getting 10 to 20s, multiple thousands of views. Shout out to Cash Daddy and Bino, my Philly fanatic folks. I happened to be in New York at one time where this concept really crystallized on my brain. I was in New York in 2017. And I was going live from my IG for the purpose of locating some greenery. So I'm live driving around New York City, Manhattan, in the backseat of a car, telling my live, like, man, I need some smoke, man. How many Crips in the area can tap in and show me where I get some weed? Wooty, 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 woo. Just generals. I swear to God, there's less than 30 people listening to me. So there were multiple people that responded in my DM. I told them, I said, look, whatever homie who said they a homie closest to me, I'm gonna get a driver of these addresses, and whoever I'm closer to, pull up on you. I'm trying to buy some weed. So the addresses that I got in my DM, once I gave them to the driver, the closest one was a certain individual. Shout out to my nigga Cash for Dev Doe, my low, 23 EC. My Brooklyn low. I pull up on a cat in the projects in the area. Just imagine me in a back seat rolling down my window. I've been talking to some dude in my DM that I don't know. And then when I pull up where he told me, I see a nigga coming out the building with a blue rag around his neck with French braids. And he looking kind of conspicuous. I'm like, he like, what up, cuz? It was the homie. So I had no idea. I'm just talking to my Locs in New York. I had no idea that he was from a section that was an East Coast Crip section. So yeah, the way I was received, it's hard for me to explain. I don't imagine I'll ever experience it again. I happen to be in New York on behalf of a janky promoter, and kind of like stuck in Brooklyn with these cats I just met that claim East Coast Crip. I had no accommodations.
Right.
And I watched these niggas not knowing that I knew. I watched them pass a hat and accumulate enough money for some 5-star accommodations for like 3-4 days. Yeah, it was me and my nigga Puto. So I love my homies from New York. And I really have drawn a blank as to how we got to that subject. So but I'm on your lead, man. I don't mean to take over your platform and do your interview for you, but
yeah, no, I feel it. But no, I feel it. But no, that's cool. Like, you know that.
Water Loc, what it do? Panda Loc, Cash, what it do?
No, it's cool that you had like those connections just from, you know, going on live and, you know, doing shit like that. And then, you know, it kind of led into the whole reactions on certain posts and shit like that. Yeah.
You asked me how, so.
But no, I mean, like, that's cool.
2017, went to New York. I landed. Oh, so, bam. But also, thank you. Okay, I'm back where we was at. While I was in the car asking for the weed and all that transpired, what happened was, I don't know if you're familiar with Slow Bucks or Winslow. He was formerly a Junior G Unit affiliate who experienced some extreme success in the clothing industry, and then established himself as a hip hop type industry type household name. He ended up on stage with 50. I think he got a jaw broken or something, and there was a lawsuit and all that. But he's like a household name in the scenes of, he been around, he knows some cats, right? Yeah. He was married to Ashanti's sister. So I only mention him because, once again, it was a real good reason. What were we talking about?
How you got about with the reactions and stuff, you know, doing the videos of the, you know, going on live and all that.
Yeah. So bam, I told you, Janky promoter got me to New York.
Right.
Fuck it, cuz name was Smith. Backdoor Movements. That was his name. Somebody just tried to call me. I had to block him out.
Oh, it's all good.
Smith BDM. He had me on some janky shit. So I reached out to Slow Bucks because I knew cuz before he was Slow Bucks, he was just Winslow. I got footage right now. Me and Slow Bucks in the studio pulling burners out the backpack. He don't know I got this footage, but he was like a real humble individual. That was my nigga. Every time I came to New York, he was a nigga I tapped in with. And then, with long story short, being separated for whatever, he blew up, whatever. So when I got in New York, janky promoter, I'm stranded. Me and Puto, we had JFK, no accommodations. Go through my Rolodex, call my low. Slow Bucks, call Cuz. Cuz told me he was finna come, check on me, get us right. He left us hanging. So eventually, while we were out there, in that same time, I had to call my nigga Cash Daddy from Philly. So imagine me being at JFK and the nigga around the corner telling me at 4 in the morning, I'm on my way to come get you. It took me to probably like 12 afternoon to finally realize he ain't coming, ain't answering no more. I called some niggas in Philly, my nigga Cash Daddy and Bino. They came to make sure I was straight. They were supposed to be back in Philly the same day. They stayed with me about 5-6 days. We ended up sleeping in the car at times. But the thing about it was they was on the internet deeper than me. And when I would be in my live saying, they would be in the passenger seat, the driver's seat. In the back seat is me and Puto. They from Philly, but we driving around New York and I'm on my live. And I would answer certain questions. And Bino in particular, the passenger, would say, that shit gonna go viral tomorrow. And lo and behold, shout out to Ryan, Hip Hop Classics Daily. It'd be something I spoke about that I was just keeping it to Google, factual on my behalf, but it would involve other people that were famous. And there were platforms, one in particular, Hip Hop Classics Daily, that would repost my content and get a lot of traction. And not only did he do that on a continuous basis, he eventually found himself approaching me in my DM, encouraging me to establish my own platform. He let me know I cover everything hip hop related. And there's something about when I cover your content that I see, you may have something of your own. You should embark upon something similar of this on your own. Really didn't know how to form it, but it also was coinciding with motivations I had on my own of just utilizing what we consider social media and these platforms of establishing something. Didn't know the exact direction. But once Ryan got in my DM and just telling me, I started going live on Instagram on a consistent basis. And I started getting a small following and it started catching on slightly. But then he switched it up on me. He said, bro, Instagram don't pay, YouTube does. Right. So I think you should go to YouTube. So I had to find the confidence to go from a few hundred followers every time I went live to 3 followers in the big world of YouTube. But I did it. I just did it. No matter how many people were watching, I have very monumental moments that are documented on the internet where I was talking to less than 30 people and just speaking to my facts. And the next day I woke up, it was on Floyd Mayweather's page. So I just started dedicating myself to the process of being consistent, keeping it a Google. And it's a very organic effort when you see the black box. The only reason it's going to be the black box from now until ever is because we lost the Keyway Christ neighborhood Nip. And shortly before we lost him, he walked through here and he blessed this motherfucker with a drop. It wasn't the only time he had been here. I think before he came here, it wasn't the black box. My walls was white. But by the time he came again, I wasn't even here. Shout out to Puto, 3 Up High. Ooh. He introduced me to Cuz. And surprisingly to me, 2019 around Super Bowl weekend, he had Cuz here doing that drop. So when he passed, I wasn't sure that if the black box was temporary or if that's what it was going to be. But once he passed, not only did the M and Baymac start meaning more than money, also Marathon, the black box was also established as eternal, dedicated to the homie.
Yeah, and I like that because all your intro to every video, it says, you know, him saying shout out to SBI, you know, and then he goes on.
Why not? You tell me, why not? Imagine
no,
Tretch having a similar platform 15 years ago.
Right.
And he having a similar drop from Tupac. What do you think would be his drop? Constantly, consistently, continuously. Yeah. It's a no-brainer. I come last. The whole world revered his existence in passing to an extent that even if it may seem to some haters as extreme, I deem what I do as very small. I could be doing a whole lot more because I don't quite attempt to highlight the fact that I put him in his first video.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up, the smoke one with us. Yeah, I really like that one. And I didn't even know there was a video to that until I looked.
Can you imagine how humble and fortunate I find myself at the unfortunate, untimely death of him, to have the jewels I have? Not only do I have the most original first footage in the form of Smoke One with Us, I also have drops. If you look at my intro to my Wake and Bake show, of him speaking my name from that day. I also have the latest footage. I don't know if you've seen it, but he was building a studio at the time of his death that was downtown 8th and Olive that was almost complete. Yeah. And what he described it was Navy SEAL top secret clearance. And I have the latest footage that I can imagine. Outside of the footage of the day of his death, we see him taking the pictures and the actual footage, God bless, that I've only been able to view, not even 100% the whole one time. I have some of the latest footage of us and his most, I just feel real, fortunate. We know John the Baptist, not because of the things he did prior to the death of Christ, but we know of him for the things he did post the death of Christ. In a lot of ways, I view Nipsey Hussle as the Keyway Christ, Keyway meaning Crip in Swahili. not being disrespectful to anyone else's religious beliefs. But there are so many parallels that I could draw between his existence, my existence, our existence, and the existence for Christ and the exact sect that he related to. One in particular, he died in his neighborhood.
Right.
One of the most popular 60s that we ever heard of, regardless if you want to go back and nitpick any politics or what he established about who is who.
Yeah.
Everybody can agree he was one of the most ever
popular. Yeah.
And then he died in the heart of a hood, in a section that he had really established cameras everywhere from the inside out. One of the most common things in Christianity when you talk about Christ is he died so you don't have to die. Yeah. So I grabbed Nipsey's experience for me being an authentic member from where I'm from. One of my favorite lines that I didn't really get until he died. He said, authentic ain't the word. I'm on 63rd.
Yeah.
I used to think he used to say authenticate the word. That's what I heard. That's authenticate. It still makes sense because he's kind of prolific. Yeah. It was after he died. Then when I heard authentic ain't the word, I'm like, oh, that's what he's saying. It's bigger than that. Guess where a lot of my time was spent? On 93rd. I'm waiting for my opportunity to say authentic ain't the word. I'm on 93rd. He was licking on the curb by the time he heard on my mama. But anyway, I don't even know how we got on the subject of the homie, but that's my relation to the metaphors when I call him the keyway Christ. It's not based on trying to place him in any. It's just I don't even know how authentic the actual Christ story is, but I have drawn some inspiration and understanding from concepts that I found in the Bible, separated from it being declared as the word of God.
Yeah.
You feel me? So
that's
what keyway Christ. He died in his hood, so I don't have to die in mine. Yeah, because there's death. If you know who Del Dog is, I apologize for interrupting you.
Oh, go ahead.
But Del Dog is the Nipsey Hussle that wasn't a rapper. You know who Big U is?
Yeah.
So Del Dog was Big U before there was a Big U, but he wasn't a rapper. He was a Big U, but he was from Main Street. And he was very, 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 very rich crippin' way before he started tiptoeing in the industry. Without getting into much detail, Del Dog, who represents everything you can want to imagine about fly, rich, crippin', and positivity, and that everything. He's the fusion of it all. He died in his hood, not by enemy. And it's not to say Del Dog was right or whoever else was wrong. It's just the reality of the realm in which we involved ourselves. So you can feel obligated to meet that, even though it was in Vegas. Tupac, look at what happened with him trying to maintain a direct connection to our immediate element. It's just a detrimental reality.
Yeah, you're right, man. That's just crazy, how it all happened, and it's fucked up, you know what I'm saying? But I absolutely see what your point is, man. It makes sense. Well,
I know a dude. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna tell you the first song I ever heard, with you and Nipsey was "My Life," or it's also labeled as "Tired." Or
shout out to Fast Action, because I just want to give you a little history on that.
Yeah, go
Fast
ahead.
Action was an independent artist that I was familiar with when I was signed, who I always admired because even though he had talent, he knew how to approach the situation with business on his mind. And so I ended up doing quite a few features with him on his own records. And we developed a rapport that we were cool. That My Life record was just a record I did. And I think at the end of the record, there was so much instrumental left where Fast Action was able to put that record together. And he put Nipsey on it. I don't know if that's a record he actually got from Nipsey or verse, or if it's a verse he was able to get the acapellas from. But the homie Fast Action put that together.
Good.
I mean, and I'm not saying to shit on him. I only want to make it clear because I don't ever want to get credit for trying to claim something that wasn't really mine. I do have for definitely the Smoke One With Us.
Yeah.
So Fly and Count on You are records that me and Nipsey agreed personally to do together.
Yeah.
Not only that, I have a record that I did with him called I can't think of the title, but it was Glasses Malone got a brother called K-Style who tried to put he tried to put the True Blue movement together again
Yeah.
some years back when Nipsey first got the popping. And I think the name of the song could be True Blue. I don't know the name of the song, but there's a song with me, Nipsey, and Glasses on it that we actually participated in together. The only reason I don't push that song up into this point is because K-Style gave me the green light to do so. But Nipsey kind of like gave him a recycled verse. And it's a verse we familiar with from other records.
Oh, okay.
And so K-Style kind of felt some type of way because back then he broke bread with the homie. The homie gave him that. He thought he had something exclusive and then whatever. But I'm going to add that record. I got to think of the title of it, but it's me, Glasses, and K-Style. But that's the only records. So Fly, Count on You, Come Smoke On With Us, and the record I'm speaking of with He, I, and Glasses, the only record we both understood we was working on together. The one with Fast Action, that's something he put together.
Yeah, I really like about that. You know, not So Fly, but the My Life. You know, that one. I was gonna tell you a story. You know, like when I was bumping that song, you know, it was the day Nipsey had passed. You know, I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna go out here and smoke one. I'm gonna go cruise."
You lying?
No, I swear to God.
After or before?
When he like I've known the song before he passed. So
well,
I went.
After he passed, you went and listened. Okay.
Yeah. So I went and listened to it, and then you know I was just cruising and shit, smoking, and like, dude, my fucking subs blew to that song. You know, because it has so much bass, and I was like, fuck, man, I couldn't be more fucking happy about this shit. You know what I'm saying? The best way to blow your subs is, you know, right on his verse. That shit was hard as fuck.
That's humbling, man. That's humbling, man. To hear those type of accounts from real people, to realize that because, you know, a lot of people look at my experience in the industry as almost or not quite success. And I understand. We see what the potential was and what it quite seemed to be, right? And a lot of times, once you get everybody's perspective and you think about what everybody would agree to, you find your time all by yourself and reflecting. And you realize all you ever asked the creator was when nobody had any idea who you were and you thought you was one of the dopest or the dopest. All I really asked the creator was, allow me to get the reaction from the general public to know I'm not tripping. Like, I just want to know that strangers can relate to, I think I'm dope. Like, I want to be in this mix enough to where I get the feedback, like, you ain't tripping. Yeah, you dope.
Yeah, right. And that for sure, and that's what I'm saying.
It's so over-delivered that it puts you in that, what are you complaining about? That ain't what you asked for. I didn't come in trying to sell my soul asking to be at the top of the game. I just wanted to be convinced that I'm not tripping, that I feel like out of all things I can endeavor into, I'm one of the best at this. And I really have received that reciprocation from the general public that I can establish that enough people agree with me. I know what's lacking when it comes to big budgets and campaigns and promotion. Yeah. That's the only thing actually lacking with myself being able to be compared with other contemporaries. Other than that, when you strip all that, it ain't really nobody from my time frame that can fuck with me when it comes to trying to explain our environment, being articulate, being poetic. I have so many records to where even throughout the record, I get the reputation of being hardcore, but there's no profanity and nobody realizes. You can listen to 48 bars of mine and think I was really being offensive and I never cussed once. But these are just things about myself that never were promoted. I never got the opportunity to accentuate. So now these are the things that I'm trying to exploit.
Trying to do now. I mean, because like that Beautiful World one, you did that on a $10,000 budget. What I heard from previous
under 10.
Yeah.
I always say under 10 just to give a perspective, but I don't want to say it was 9 or 8.
Right. But it was under 10.
The only cost I incurred, I'll keep it real. We rented that camera. We threw Dan the Man, the director, a few dollars, and he, after that video, did about 5 of Nipsey Hussle's first videos, including Forever on My Fly shit in Japan. That was just him and Dan the Man with that. Damn. So that after the Beautiful, but we rented the Phantom, we rented the Jag. There's a few other, like, you know, a few wardrobe for the females that was dancing. We really went out, me and Crash, and Dan the Man, just us 3. We went out and whatever we could do out of our pocket to make it reality. Shout out to Russ, rest in peace, and Big John, because there was some collaborators too. But the budget was only what we accidentally scraped up as costs. We didn't come in with a budget. We just were shooting the video. We rented the camera, rented a few vehicles, and then with our creativity, we put certain things in place. I walked through the mall, I bought all the blue, red, and the purple candy.
Yeah, for the remix video was really cool.
On God, like if you know it's beautiful, even in the sense of what we were just saying, if you listen to the original, I don't reference Crip, I don't curse,
not once.
I don't say cuz. The other nigga, he said all that in one. The whole concept was to come across the coldest Crip without mentioning Crip. That was the whole essence of Beautiful. But me overextending myself, trying to include others that didn't deserve to be included. If you listen to the original third verse of what we consider the record, you got somebody saying, cuz I was born a Crip. And that's never what the record was about. The Crip shit was supposed to be obvious and implicated, but never stated.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You know, yeah.
It came out tight as fuck.
Thank you, bro. I'm really proud of the
all of them. There's like 4 of them.
I wrote 4 verses. That's my thing.
Right.
I wrote the verse. First, what happened was the first time I had Papa Smurf, Piper, and the other nigga in the studio together, although the other nigga was more with me on a daily basis because he was from my hood. The Piper and Papa Smurf are cats that I was and always have been fans of, versus this guy, I've never been his fan. I was only enticed by he had one record that included my name and a bunch of the homies' names. It was on the beat I already loved. It was popping. And he said my name with more emphasis than he said anybody's name. What he says my name is Baby Spider. It was just like, Eastside. It was, so when I heard the homie, Lil Ant playing it one day on the block, I'm like, cuz, who's that? I heard my name. That's the homie. So I invited cuz to start getting down with me. So the first time he got in the studio with Piper and Smurf, niggas that I've been fans of, is the first day I heard the Beautiful beat. So when I heard the Beautiful beat, I forced the verse out. And cuz, who happened to have Blue as a part of his name, was on the couch. I invited him to be on this song, Beautiful. Your name is Blue. He couldn't get a whole bar out. So Piper ended up doing a verse that had nothing to do with Blue. And at the last line, he said, beautiful, fruitful, purple where the circle start. But in the long run, that's why I felt obligated to create a space for him to be a part of the project, because that got scrapped because 2 or 3 weeks later, the nigga named Blue called me like, I got a verse. I had already put the Piper verse out on the mixtape, which threw it off because I'm all about Blue. Here he is from Gray Street saying a regular verse and just trying to say beautiful at the end. It doesn't fit. But now a guy who I consider as my artist for my set, who I invited to be an original part of the project, now calls me 2, 3 weeks later because he was intimidated by Smurf and Piper in the studio. He can't come up with no raps because they be bullshit compared to what these MCs be doing. Now, because I got a verse. So I invite him back to the studio to redo the record, which motivated me to write a second verse. So then we got a version with me. I had the first verse with Piper. I didn't discard it, but I wrote a secondary verse and allowed him to be the third verse, which was the version that I shot the video to, and it was popularized. Shout out to Julio G, Felly Fail, Yo-Yo, all the local DJs that played a part in popularizing the record. However, he and I relationship ended up being non-existent. So then I ended up writing a 4-verse. So I have a song with 3 verses without his verse. So I say all that to say I wrote 4 Blue verses, and I'll give you a little game, a little secret. I might be writing the 5th. If everything lined up right, we might bring it back.
Dude, that'd be dope.
I can see C-Mac on a Beautiful remix.
Right, for sure. Dude,
and if you don't know who my artist is, Blue Smurf, check him out. Blue Smurf OTM on IG. He's on my latest 3 singles, Google Gang, Keep It a Google, Day Uno, and Oh Yeah, Confused. We got a full project.
I've been checking them out. Yeah, I already watched them. I already watched videos of all of them.
Yeah, Mafia to the Mafia. He from Mac Mafia, Northside, Long Beach. He my Loc, he my artist. And I envision a beautiful remix with myself, him, and C-Mac. Whether
I
it
can see that.
comes to pass or not is yet to be seen. But I just gave you a jewel that I never shared with nobody.
Hell yeah, there we go. Not no, I'm for sure that'd be dope as fuck. Cause I mean, you even got a crayon out of the fucking song, right? They named the color on Crayola
Bro,
Beautiful, right?
how humble do I have to be to not be drawing attention to that every day?
Right. No shit. I just seen that
How
during the interview
can
or
you
some
imagine
shit.
when nobody's around, when I wake up and realize that Crayola is
Use
some,
yours.
you know what? I don't never want to describe it because no matter how I describe it, it's like I'm giving myself too much credit. So I prefer when people such as yourself mention it, observe it, describe it, analyze it, and then I could just humbly say, because it is a very frustrating fact. Yeah, I agree.
No, I mean for real. I mean that's so cool. You know, so much came from that song. You know, I really like the unity too that you brought to it. You know, besides it being the beautiful, you had use of the Grape Street, and then you had some Bloods or Pyrus on the shit too. And man, that shit came out smooth as fuck.
And I have to admit, on some MC shit, Papa Smurf killed it.
Right,
Like
dude. He's a fucking dope.
Piper, I mean, how hard is it to make purple fit in where blue and red fit? That's a big task. And Piper, he went through extreme efforts to make sure he get his mind cleared to come up with what he came with. So I salute him. But Smurf, I ain't gonna lie, out of the whole shit, that's my favorite. The red verse is my favorite verse. But I want to also iterate. I co-wrote it.
Oh,
I want
okay.
y'all to know, and I love Smurf. He's my favorite rapper overall. If I have to compare everybody, I would think he's right up there amongst my favorite. However, his original last line for the beautiful red verse was, "When I wear a tie, nigga, when I wear a suit, nigga, my tie red." He came out the booth. I had to make him change that. Oh God! And how you laughing here? We share these laughs often.
Yeah.
And we laughed real good, and Cuz came back and did what he did. But I couldn't imagine somebody taking that idea, doing the red verse, and then coming with that nigga talking about eating red snappers, smoke mode, and red man. Like he killed it. He just,
Yeah.
and
No,
then
for
when
real.
yeah.
No,
I
for real.
love
He
that. I love
did.
that record, bro. I
I
love that
love.
record.
I also see you got a lot of shit with the G Unit. Obviously, you were affiliated with them. You know, back in what was it? I don't know you the year you were affiliated with them, like in 2008
I
or
met
some
him
shit.
I met him 04.
Oh,
It
okay.
probably stretched out into 07, 08. I'm still a G Unit crib. I don't care what nobody said though.
Hell yeah. No, I
My
like
mom,
I like the songs that you did with them. They came out really good, especially like Things Changed. Obviously, everybody knows that one, you know, and that one, you know, your first line into that the lyric you said, you know, it might have been the first lyric, but you said, you know,
all money ain't good money. This I
I
know, but
know,
I still love hood money. I guess my dough. And
yeah,
I
yeah,
know it's another tight at time.
but you know,
Lloyd
like,
Banks bullied his way on that record, bro.
yeah,
Shout
yeah,
out to Lloyd Banks, Blue Hell. That was supposed to be my opportunity to have a record to my neck. I was jocking and trying to get. That was a studio bus that was on the tour, and out of order, just imagine you got Olivia, Banks, Buck, 50, all Mobb Deep, all on tour. And then you got to find out when you can make the engineer make sure you get some time.
yeah,
So I had to be 50. Remember the first iPods, the thick
yeah,
white ones?
yeah, yeah.
I I swear to God, because to this day I have about maybe 15 to 20 beats and hooks with 50 on them
Oh,
that
really?
never, yeah, because that's how he used to just send them to me. Like, see what you
Not
do with
even
this, see what
on,
you do with that. Yeah,
damn, not
just
even on YouTube or nothing. You not,
no, there's no, because they were in that. And like,
you can't
at
get them off
trans,
there.
I don't even know I have no idea where it's at.
Oh, what the fuck,
Like, yeah, I
really?
have no idea. Yeah. That's
Damn,
yeah.
son of a
So
bitch.
I say all that to say this though. Yeah, I'll do a blank again. It happens quite often. I've been talking. I did a live for about 2.5 hours this
Right.
morning. Then we did this interview. I
I
drew
feel
a
it.
blank as to public. That happens often though. I
No,
drew a
no, I
blank
feel it.
as to why we was even talking about cut. But
But we just
I
talking
had
about
to.
G Unit and everything.
Oh yeah,
But like,
G on it. And
don't know was a really good one that you. I don't know the one that you did was on also on 50's album too with
oh, I was
everybody.
talking about how I was jocking for studio time. And
Right.
can you imagine finally being in the studio where nobody can bother you with Kai Miller? That was 50 Cent's go-to engineer at the time. Kai Miller, I'm in the session. I've been having that Things Change beat. That's why I mentioned it with the other records. I just happened to have that one on that iPod, right into a few of them.
Oh, okay.
And that day, I'm in the studio working on that. And Lloyd Banks came in there just on some random shit. Somebody who has access to the studio bus to 1,000,000 times more than me. But he walked in, heard, oh, that shit dope. And I'm on that. So I had wrote 2 verses. I was in the process of writing my 3rd verse, but I kind of succumbed to the fact that I was kind of, even though I had records with him, I let him bully his way on that record. I could have just, in that moment, said, I know this me to the neck. And it would have just been me. But being humble, this is the spirit that I possess. Like, I let, he was Lloyd Banks at that time. Like, so even though I kind of had the inclination to try to hog the record, I had more of an inclination to say, fuck it, let Banks get on it because he want to get on it.
Right.
But that was Things Change.
How long? You
50
said you were
had a whole treatment for a video that he was going to do for that record too. He told me that was going to be the 3rd single off the Get Rich or Die Trying soundtrack. He told me that it was going to be scenes like me and my homies in the hood shooting dice in the hood.
Oh yeah, I remember
that same scene with the same niggas was going to transfer, and then we'd be in Vegas. Same niggas would fly. Me and he had Things Change. He had the whole shit. He just didn't follow up.
Damn.
He'd tell people I didn't deliver it, but he told me he had that type of plan for not only Things Change, but also when I released the Beautiful record, independent of any assistance on his behalf or the label,
right.
He called me and told me, yo, B, you got a joint. Looks like you spent $250,000. Like you said, I spent less than 10. And then he went and proceeded to tell me what type of promotional plan he was willing and ready to put in place behind the record. He just never followed through.
Yeah, I
might have a lot to do with a case my brother caught in 05. He's still in jail right now.
Damn.
And it was a robbery. And the people that got robbed, just this week, I got somebody in my YouTube comments saying, hey, what up, cuz? I'm from the Riverside area. Some white boys used to tell me, G, you ain't robbed them. I was finna rob him. And when my brother went to jail, in order to try to separate himself from the crime that he was accused of, his conversation was to the police. What I look like robbing somebody? 50 Cent just gave my brother $2 million. You can go look at my website, spiderloc.com, and see I'm not lying. With all the desperation he was facing, all right, you can kind of understand. All right. However, he had 2 crimees. They each had $100,000 bail apiece. Once he made these proclamations, he had 2 crimees who had $100,000 bail. And guess how much bail my brother was?
Million?
10.5 million.
Jesus, fuck.
He ended up receiving life. He hasn't been home since 05. There is no way in the world you can convince me that 50 Cent has not been approached on that case.
Damn, that's fucking insane. That's a fucking lot of fucking money, man. What the
Guess what my brother told me at one point?
What?
When he first caught the case. He candidly called me and was like, hey, bro, a bail only 10.5. Till 50, I only need $1 million.
Oh, dude. That's fucking insane.
It's just all parts and pieces of the puzzle. We're more so in the past. I often tried to kind of mentally place. I know my relationship with Cud, which I have yet to expose. He know how foul he is. He know what it is, cuz there's too many levels in between where we ended up to where we could have been without him. You know what I'm saying? If you know the record, Celebrity, there was a lot of iron sarcasm involved, but I still took the opportunity not to be disrespectful to discuss the situation. And I always accepted the improper treatment with nothing. However, when you really reflect on it, not only was I handled improperly, which I was willing to accept because I know the nature of the game, it's no big deal. What I had experienced because I appreciate it so much, I didn't even really trip on the fact that it stopped without any notice. It just was no more. We went from being homies that motivated me to do this. And believe me, this had nothing to do with no paperwork or nothing y'all saw. This had been this is from all a behind the scenes establishment what made me comfortable in doing this, right?
Yeah.
So it went from that to absolutely no communication, no plans for the future. It's all over with, where you had to finally figure it out on your own, just by. It went from that. Then me reflecting upon when it was still current, him going live for the first time in 07.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, him advertising that this would be the first time you could ever speak to him live. And him being so irritated by the first questions.
How about you?
His response was so telling on his actual feeling toward me. Yeah. So I still, if you go by the chronological time, the dates, I still didn't react. I'm a man, bro. Feelings are void of a lot of my expression. No matter what my feelings are, I eliminate them and I respond accordingly. So no matter how I felt, I left all that alone. However, when I began to be active on Instagram, and I realized what Throwback Thursday was, I had the clip of him answering those questions regarding myself. And on the Throwback Thursday, I just humbly posted to my couple thousand followers, Throwback Thursday, the moment I realized 50 was hating on me.
Yeah.
Which anybody who views the footage, what else can you consider that?
Exactly.
I'm just think about it, bro. If you sell weed, you can have the boo-booish weed you done had as a weed seller. You're not going to tell that to the customer. Right. So to find a CEO who's just generally trying something new and go live, he knows he has interest in multiple artists. So he approaches his general public as, hey, what's up, y'all? First time, talk to me live. And the fact that they show interest in something you've promoted, right, and that turns you, that's counter. Everybody gives him all this credit for being such a great businessman. That's counter anything business as far as, so it's personal, right? So and that he responded to my statement. He said some bullshit. And so not only that, in his response, he said, I didn't deliver. Nobody knows other than Puto, Kai Miller, and my brother-in-law, rest in peace, Turtle, that there was a point in the year 06 where I was at 50's house in Connecticut, Mike Tyson's old house, recording. He was preparing an album to where he would leave the house for multiple days at a time to go see Eminem in Detroit and then come back. And in the meantime, while he was gone, I had my in-house circle of Puto and Turtle, Puto, my engineer, when Kai Miller wasn't, and we was doing records. During that exchange of times, 50 returned from Detroit one time, heard the records I had to play, and declared me ready for the show. $16.99. You fixed your record. Spider fixed his record. He got on the phone, told people that were relevant, hey, Spider fixed his record. It's done. I met him in 04, late 04. This is 06. Yet, when he chose to respond to the clip that I said he was hating on me, he said he wasn't hating on me. I just never delivered. Not only did I meet my requirement of turning in an acceptable album by 06 that he accepted as the CEO, I also found myself on CBS on an episode of Cold Case, co-starring alongside Michael B. Jordan. Also found myself on an episode of Numbers, a series on NBC alongside Wood Harris. I also landed myself on Weeds, another big series on Showtime, a cable network, exchanging lines with the lead Caucasian female character in the opening scene. I also found myself on an episode of Shark, which is a discontinued show that didn't quite get carried on. I also filmed a film called Parole, which I starred alongside Master P. I did all this in between 05 and 07, and he said I didn't deliver. And I'm the only artist that you can ever associate him with that he didn't put a budget behind.
So there's got to be something to it.
He put money behind Hot Rod and put him with Mary J.
So what do you think it is?
I just shared with you what my brother went through.
Damn. What the fuck? So that's
this before vitamin water. I can imagine Chris Lighty doing just like this. Can you imagine him landing in LAX on
Right.
a regular routine visit, and somebody tapping him on his shoulder, showing him a bag, and saying, "We need to holler at you." And then that's the subject matter.
Yeah. Son of a
There were
bitch.
incidents. Remember the Vibe Awards where Dre got rushed?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you remember the melee? Just imagine way back then, after all that melee, 50 Cent and Shy Money approached me with a photograph of that melee with all those people zoomed in with one person circle telling me, "Hey, if this your homie, tell him don't come around us because the people is asking about it."
Son of a
So
bitch.
yeah, shit get deep.
Yeah, it
Like I
did.
never took anything personal with 50 until he told the world I didn't deliver. You lied on me. And
Yeah.
then when I just felt comfortable years later saying, okay, which is obvious to everybody, he was hating on me right here.
Yeah.
When you went public and chose to disagree, then I had to verbalize my reaction.
Yeah.
You know, there's a
Makes
lot to appreciate. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I mean,
oh no,
I know
no.
I got the. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, I was gonna say, yeah, and that makes sense. It's just kind of like, kind of like the opposite way that it kind of went down at death row. Like you were able to have some kind of not a disagreement or anything. It's just like, all right, you're gonna go your own way. No big
But
deal.
guess what it took? That took. Just imagine what I had established as far as a presence as being Suge's artist.
Right.
And without him having any clue it was coming, I had to find the courage to approach him and ask him separate ways.
Yeah.
This is where the lack of respect comes in for Curticia's Jack daughter. He never had the courage just to have that moment. There would be nothing else to talk about if he had the courage to tell me this. That's it.
Yeah.
And our involvement qualifies me as deserving of that. Some of our most memorable initial conversations was after he took his opportunity to take me in and analyze me, was him telling me, I get excited when I see myself again. Not only are we both Curtis, but that statement dealt with more than just our names.
Yeah.
And what I think happened somewhere along the way of what he convinced the world that he was and he saw in me, I think he realized I'm much more than that than he is. And because he's more interested in that credit versus than that credit, he couldn't allow me to assume my naturally deserved spot in this hip hop game because it would, in his mind, tend to take light away from who he is. My mama have no idea who 50 Cent is other than when he came in my life, I've told her. Right. Post all that, and she saw he was gone. Power was brand new. And he was on a talk show that she watches all the time because all the hosts are females. And he had the leading female on his show with him. And while he was sitting there next to her, and she was basically being introduced to the world, the host was asking her a series of questions. And somewhere in that process, he found it comfortable for him to say, what about me? You're asking her all that. And my mama not even knowing what we assume about, he found himself, you're the CEO of this whole thing. If she goes boom because she's a character on Power, guess what? You go boom. But because she was achieving so much of the attention on this platform, and you've been had monumental amount of times compared to her, he was still jealous. And that's not me saying that. That's a senior citizen lady who she was turned off by the way he was trying to assert himself above the young lady who has very little exposure, and you have tons of it. You brought her here to help her gain exposure. And now that the interviewer was interested in her, you start feeling like you was being on a back burner and happened to ask, hey, what about me? So that just speaks to his character. There's no way in the world. I got 3 sons. I got 4 sons. I really got 5 sons. I got 3 sons that I had sex with their mother to make them. I had 2 sons prior to that I ended up having sex with their mothers later and creating someone else. So, and I was in their lives prior.
Right. I see what you mean.
Other than upping a gun on me or something of that nature to shoot it at me, there's nothing we can't get over. Nothing.
Right.
If you got something is a Marquise. There's a such thing as a Marquise Jackson that resembles you so much.
Right.
You can repair your relationship with Fat Joe, but you are not equipped and adapt, willing and ready to do what it takes to make sure if you go tomorrow, what more of a pure energy to leave everything? Who else do you trust?
Yeah. No, it makes
This
sense.
little
You know,
makes zero sense.
yeah. I mean, to you, like you like with these beat, like so-called, beefs or whatever, like you have with people, like you don't let them bother you, like whatever with the, what I'm saying? Like there was the Snoop Dogg, the Wack 100, right? Drayster, BG Knockout, who was the other one? I mean, just whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's not
BG
like,
Bob, it's a few of them, Charleston White,
yeah,
Thunder
but
Rat.
like, but for you, you're not like, oh, I'm gonna go beat the fuck out of him. It's just like, okay, whatever, we had disagreement, if we can come to terms sometime, we'll do it. But if not, who gives a fuck,
Fuck
right?
you.
Like, when were you able to adapt that mindset of
Because
letting shit go?
as a teenager, I've been exposed to the bottom line of this shit. County jail, prison system. Ain't no guns. I'm from East Coast. So if I'm not doing wrong and I got a problem with any nigga, it ain't no homies involved. It's between me and that man. Because that's the way politics drop. It's man against man. Only time homies get involved if somebody feel like somebody getting violated. But if you got an issue with another homie that's a crib or just a black non-affiliate or anything, that's between you and that man. And once you learn that, you realize how to manipulate the politics to be appropriate to each situation. And so therefore, my history of being a stumped down native out here, I've established relationships with niggas from everywhere that unless I violate, they're not willing to go against me for a homie of theirs that don't like me for an unjustifiable reason. They gonna stick to the script. What's the principle? Cause a stumped down homie. I'm not no nigga that popped up on YouTube as a grandfather saying, hey, I'm Spider Loc, I'm a reputable from LA. This is shit I built since a teenager.
Right.
So I'm not the proof. The proof is trying to go find people from that environment that's going to disqualify my claims.
Yeah.
And that's it's kind of impossible. So this is what I realized. The internet, microphones, distance, and separation gives people courage to do all type of shit and say.
Absolutely.
This is what I know about myself. There is nothing factual about me that I'm ashamed of. So if you're saying something derogatory about me, you're either lying or you're trying to shine light on something that's truth that I don't care about. What is my point? The truth, look, I'm from right here. I'm from La La Land. I'm from Compton. My birth certificate say born in Compton. I've never been nowhere for no long period of time outside out of here. If I ever compromise my character, the proof is there somewhere. It will surface.
Yeah. All about facts. Having
everything
proof.
I've done. That's it. That's Facts Over Feelings on my platform. We keep it at Google. The only reason we keep it at Google is because everybody keeps it 100. They keep it 1,000. They keep it 1,000,000. We're familiar with the fact that a Google is a 1 followed by 1,000,000 zeros, which dominates all other denominations. So we just outdoing everybody. We in love with facts. We keep it a Google. And a Googleplex is a 1 followed by an infinite amount of zeros. So we keep it a Google. I am just as willing to share my losses as I am my wins.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite as successful in my area as Mayweather, but even if he committed himself to be that open and transparent, there's just not many losses, if any, to report. And in the institution that I've applied myself, I'm very candid about anything that didn't go my way, any L's I took. But they're just not that many. They're not frequent. And it seems to rub some people in the way of jealousy or disbelief. I don't know. I'm not trying to put no extras on nothing. If I was great at gymnastics, that's what I would be talking about.
Yeah.
If I had an awesome record at business finance, that's what would be on the tip of my tongue. I just happened to sign up. I signed up for the failures. And I was a great failure. It's nothing to be proud about. It's just what I am.
Growth. Yeah, and like you grow from that.
And I've grown. But so many people find themselves wanting to be associated with the failures. They're jealous of the fact that you have some type of fondness or appropriation amongst the failures. I don't get it.
What does the word growth mean to you?
Growth?
Yeah.
Good question, because to me, growth is everything. It's the essence of life.
Right.
I believe anything that's not growing has ceased to live before it has died. If you're either growing or you're in need of growth, no one is fully grown. Anything that is fully grown has met its completion and its purpose before it has ceased living, and then in essence is dead. There's no more room for growth. There's really no more room for the purpose of life, because the amount of knowledge that is available is infinite.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And you never top
not,
out. There's no topping
yeah,
out, you know what I'm
you
saying,
can
until
never
you
top
get it.
out. And that's my definition of growth. It's a infinite journey that I've learned to appreciate, and I want to encourage all to focus on and appreciate your growth, being more or better than you were a moment, a month, or a memory ago. It's far more gratifying and satisfying to be better than anybody else you comparing yourself to.
Yeah, because I mean, you're not the same person you were 10 years ago. I mean, you're the same
You
person.
shouldn't be.
No,
You
no, you
shouldn't
shouldn't be.
be.
Yeah, no,
You
absolutely
shouldn't
not.
be.
Because if you,
And then so many find themselves as being the same, and that's a very, very unfortunate reality.
yeah, don't come out of certain shit, you know? What?
Most people who have transcended the hood often would say, many niggas doing the same thing they were doing 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
And that was a speaking point that resonated. But now it seems like that don't even make sense.
right. Well, with these last 4 minutes we got, I was gonna have you just answer these. I think it's like 8 questions, you know, just simple questions. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna say, what is the lesson you learned from business, you know, that you might have been fucked over?
Business,
Yes.
what I learned about business is for the best of your advantage, your attempt should be to keep it void of emotion.
Oh, yeah.
Good, bad, right, wrong tends to trigger emotions. Emotions tend to clutter business. Business tend to motivate good, bad, right, wrong emotions. So the best balance you can find in business is keep it black and white and eliminate feelings and emotions, even when you think your counterpart might be utilizing them. Is to your advantage to eliminate them from your process first and continuously approach the situation void of emotion and feelings. That's what I learned about business.
Oh yeah, I like that one. That's a good tip right there. What is I guess a struggle that you went through in your life that kind of brought you to where you are now?
One of the main struggles, just off the cuff, is like I spoke of earlier, is trying to balance the general perception of what we thought the world would consider as a real hood nigga, and being a real hood nigga that had transcended that and was no longer interested in trying to maintain that perception. However, did not want the public to get the misconception that I sacrificed it by being unofficial in any way. My thing was to communicate that I'm done with that. However, I'm done with it in the same sense as Tom Brady retiring or Mayweather retiring or anyone in that sense. There's no dishonorable discharge associated with my name. I'm only following the steps of numerous individuals who had less of a reputation than myself and have disassociated themselves without reproach.
Right.
Tons of them, big homies and little homies. There's niggas that I watch come on the set, only be active under my direction, retire, and go straight square and never hear nothing, can pop up whenever they feel like. And they started under me and quit before me. My little homies. That it's no way. Like anybody trying to give you any perception of myself other than that, they lying. They the antichrist to this script shit. I'm the truth. And I say it very little. I say it more in lyrics because, you know, the spirit of hip hop is braggadocious. When I get to approach the public, just in general, I don't toot my horn how I could. I'm the low, like in a whole like. I'll do my best to put forth my vernacular and my image as an intelligent individual versus as a nigga that know how to get ignorant. And I made myself by knowing how to get ignorant. On my mama, I know how to be a fool. Whether I'm a fool or not, I know how to be a very effective fool. On my mama. Everybody that know me know this. I could not keep jumping in front of the camera saying this.
Yeah. No, I
Come
feel
on,
it.
I've been saying this for like I don't know how long. Like I'm me, like I know extras, like there's no extras on it. It's just me.
Right. And that's the best way too. How do you invest in yourself?
Say it once more.
How do you invest in yourself?
Yeah, you try to come with some cold questions. Okay. One of the ways I invest in myself, damn, I don't mean like I invest in myself in multiple ways, but the best way I can share right now is I started doing my platform, going live with white walls. Um, I flipped that from white walls to the black box to a consistent look, being present on this internet on a consistent basis. Initially, no matter what the return was, there was no ROI initially other than a very slow accumulation of interest. But I deemed that almost as if it was a financial reward. And I just continue to view it as such. And I have now realized something other than doing it for free. So I invested in myself by applying my time to something that I knew or believed would benefit me in the future,
Right.
even though it wasn't evident immediately. Outside of that, this is my own company.
Clothing brand right there. I like that.
Yeah. So that's another way I invest in myself. Other than that, it's just by utilizing all that I am and all that I have to promote, push, establish, substantiate what I'm pushing. So I can speak on a lot of different arms, but I don't know if one of them will be more important than the other. So all I do, if you see what I push myself and Blue Smurf. That's my artist.
Yeah.
So outside of me take care of my family and my loved ones, I invest in myself and my artists totally with everything I do. My whole platform is dedicated to the promotion of my music and Blue Smurf music. But people don't realize, they see me doing a lot of talking on the black box.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one more jewel. It's always been about the music. Shh.
Okay, for sure.
Fuck about none of this shit.
Right.
It's always been about the music. It's always and always going to be about the music. I won't keep saying that. So this being said now is something people will have to refer to. By the time I refer to it again, we got to get further, way further. But between me and you, y'all don't tell whoever listening. It's always been about the music. It's shit, yeah. Always.
Yeah, always, man. And that's what, I noticed about you, even through all the beefs, all the shit you went through, the fallouts with the labels and everything, you always stuck to the music, no matter what, even if you're making, a lot of your, and you know what I'm saying? Just like always sticking to yourself.
Neighborhood Nip taught me, cuz the Keyway Christ taught me. I remember going to see cuz on multiple occasions. And I remember at one particular time just inquiring with him, like just asking him, like, what should, how, what, man. Cuz direction was SPI start with the music. So if you don't got no current music, I don't remember the year it was, how long ago it was, but he was like, start with the music. So when he told me that, I remember getting back to recording. So if I'm going to approach the public with 7 songs as an introduction, guess how many songs I'm going to have recorded up into that effort?
21, more than that.
30 or, yeah,
As
yeah,
a
30
real
or better.
artist. Right.
Yeah, 30 or better. 30 or better. So that's the type of battery I put my back at that moment. I went back into recording and I started releasing. And it just resonated and it made sense. It starts with the music. This is your introduction to this whole shit. It's all about the music. Anything else I include, that's what it is. And anything else I include, even if it seems to take precedent at some point or the other, the initial motivation was the music. I'm just gonna ride the wave though, because I can't dictate what you, him, she, her, and they appreciate about myself. What I can do is display my talents, my gifts, be open to what I'm willing to share, and then I can be receptive to the response I receive, and then I kind of like adjust my approach to that. That's how you got me speaking on so many popular subjects versus me going live just talking my personal shit. Right. It's because that's what y'all show more interest in. To this day, I run experiments. People don't even be aware of it. I'll set my show up with 3 popular subjects and 3 just interesting subjects on my behalf. When I make the clips, every time the shit that's trending outperforms the important conversation. So when you go to work, if you work in a regular job or anything other than this, how many times do you go to your income supplier and try to tell them how the program is going to go? The public happens to be the people established the success here. Right. So if I present a variety of topics and then I become accustomed to what you guys are more adept to talking about, why would I force my interest on you when I'm here for you and I'm here interested in what y'all want to hear from me? This is what I'm here for. Exactly. I'm not here as a minister saying I got a doctrine and I want to present. I'm no expert on nothing. I've had some experiences I'm willing to share. And according to that, what would y'all like to ask me? And that's the basis of my platform. So a lot of the time that takes the interest away from my personal interest, more toward the public interest. But however, I get the credit or the blame for being more interested in things that I'm not even interested in. But y'all are, and I'm willing to discuss it.
Yeah, because you don't give a shit. You know, like you said, you have the facts and you have the facts and everything, so you ain't got shit to worry about. I really like how you can go on and on and on about any subject too. You know, that's like something like a public speaking kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? Even if we ain't doing the public shit right now, we doing an interview right now, but like you can go on and on. Like that's what's good about. That's a good skill to have when you're doing a podcast is be able to.
And I just feel blessed. I feel blessed that that's a fact. I don't brag about that. I realize that. And I acknowledge it as a gift and a blessing, bro. Thank you for acknowledging it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I went and did like my first public speaking thing today. I guess, you know, like my teacher had bought a shirt for me, you know what I'm saying? You know, she's like wanted to take a picture and, you know, I was like, all right, cool. I'll be there at 12:30, you know, and she's like, all right, cool. We'll take a picture together, you know, cause I'm going to advertise the shirt or whatever, you know, and then we took it and she's like, hey,
what do it say? What do the shirt say?
Invest in yourself.
Oh, that's why you asked me a good question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like,
right. And I pointed to my shirt. That's all.
Go ahead. Yeah. I got to represent. You know, but then she just told me, you know, like, hey, since you're here, can you do a public speaking for this class and tell them
on the spot?
Yeah. And I was wearing fucking
Did you
sandals.
Turn red?
Yeah, no, I mean, when she asked me that, but then I was just like, you know what, fuck it, why not? Because, you know, I need to start doing that, you know, to get a feel for it, you know what I'm saying? But I was just like wearing fucking sandals with no socks and that shit. I was like, fuck it, let me go in there and do it, you know what I'm saying? So I did it.
What was the age group of the people that were listening to you?
Fucking like 20 to 40 years old, man, just like different because it's a college class, you know, so like it was a business class though, you know, so that was one I had taken like 2 years ago and she was like, you know what, fuck it, you know, you want to go do this? And I was like, yes, man, fuck it, you know, because you got to get experience in it somehow, you know, to get your foot in there and be able to do it, you know what I mean? Like,
salute, because I can relate. on a very, and I'm gonna end with this because I know we probably close to our time.
Yeah.
If we haven't extended it, okay. A friend of mine who I met in 1993, he's originally from New Jersey, Trenton, and we had the whole East Coast, West Coast thing. He developed into being one of my best friends in life. However, I can recall when, damn, that's another blank. What did you just say? It's gonna bring me back.
About the public speaking. The public speaking. About
he invited me. It was about, what was it? It was pre-COVID, a couple years ago, 2017, I went to New York. So it was probably like around 16, 15. I've known him since 93. However, he was tasked with putting together a week of prayer in Pennsylvania at a co-ed high school, private Christian school. And he had to get a speaker for Monday through Saturday. And we call Saturday the Sabbath. That's a special day. So he had a speaker for a week of prayer for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, who all were constituents of R who turned out to be actual ministers. They were all in their late 20s to mid 30s, but they had churches, they were ministers. We knew them since high school, since teenagers, but now this is who they were. And he invited me to speak on Friday evening after Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, I had to follow up 4 preachers that spoke to these kids. And the whole theme was all roads lead to Nineveh. However, as I am now, I was not living a minister's life.
Right.
But I was blessed and tasked with the opportunity to get in front of these young people and speak to them on a positive note. So I had to be as honest, introspective, and creative as I possibly could, so I can relate to you being put on the spot
Right.
and having to talk some shit. You feel me? But I'm looking forward, as you are. I'm looking forward to more opportunities to speak to the public.
Yeah, because it's nice to do that kind of shit, and it's like it gets your brand out there more, but it's you as a person too. And on top of it, the most, it's trying to put good shit out there to motivate people to do something that they
Indeed.
love to do, But
Indeed.
that's a cool story. I bet nobody probably heard that one you just put out there.
No, I tried to bless you with some jewels. I want everybody to know, bro. I get invitations in my DM to be interviewed
Yeah.
multiple times a day. I try to weed through them and deal with them, but I've turned the process into a business process.
Yeah.
So because I don't know who is who, I always respond with a business type proposition. It helps me weed out the people who are sincere and serious about what they're establishing. So I want to shout you out for not running from the business side of it. You don't got to be specific about nothing, but I respect you. And anytime you need me, I'm on deck for you. Much love. And, I feel like my effort on the internet is just as organic as yours. And I salute you, my nigga. I like your authenticity, you being honest. I like the fact, I'm very talkative.
Yeah.
And you allowed me to be talkative, even though you were driving. So I appreciate it. And I'm not trying to step on your words. It's a reason why I'm on one. I just won't tell everybody.
No, I feel it, man. I appreciate you too coming out, taking an hour out of your day to come and spend one with me. You know what I'm saying?
I know you thought I was finna bullshit you when my schedule got funny and all that.
No, it's all good.
Yeah,
I knew we were gonna do it sometime today. You know what I'm saying? And I was just chilling at the house doing homework anyway. But thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate you. My name is Adrian too. I don't think I introduced myself at the beginning, but
right on, Adrian. Much love.
But yeah, thank you for coming on and let the people know where you can find where they can find your ads.
Hey, if you're on IG on a regular basis, Spider Loc Most Easty, the number 7. Spider Loc Most Easty, the number 7 on IG. Spider Loc Most Easty on YouTube. AMACStreetwear.com is where you can get all the fly gear and merch. Other than that, in the future, much love.
Well, hell yeah. Thank you again for coming on, man. I appreciate you. And hey, send me a picture that I can use for like like an advertisement, to
I'm gonna send you a picture that I use I wore this in my live today, so I'll send you a picture similar to this.
Okay, for sure. Thank you again, man. Good meeting
Much
with you,
love.
man.
Likewise, Adrian.
Yeah, you too.
What's the name of the platform?
Invest in Yourself Clothing. I'll send you the links and everything.
Hold on, I gotta give you a drop real quick. You already know what it is. SPI, the Most Easty, Spider Loco, aka VJ Keyway, aka Bay Machiavelli. Be about your money at all costs and invest in yourself. If you ain't investing in yourself, you're wasting your time. My mama.
Hell yeah, man. That's right. Absolutely, man.
Appreciate you, loved one.
Appreciate
Likewise.
you too, man. I'll keep in touch.
All right.
See you, man.
Yep.